Hello, friends. So I am shooting for a 15 to 20 minute little number that gets our self moving, our heart moving just a little bit. So that said, we're going to jump right into it. But I just want to show when I sit down, I'm going to sit on a little bit of a throne so that my hips are hopefully higher than my knees, right? In Sukhasana. And instead of the shins all the way back in meditation pose, the shins are a little forward, and that'll make sense why in just a little bit. Close the eyes and just notice. We won't be here quite as long, but take a few moments, release tension that is not needed, get a feel for if there's anywhere in your body where you could be a little bit more tender today, give a little more awareness to, etc. And then go ahead and open the eyes. And you're going to just start by gently walking forward. So keep the sitting bones where they are, right? Sinking down. And the legs stay there. We just slowly start to fold forward one little paw print at a time. And don't go for the full round for this first opening one. Keep a longer spine, right? With the intention of trying to just say hello to the buttocks. Walk back, put your other shin in front. And again, get length and height. You're up on that height, right? And even if my friends are like, yeah, well, I don't need it, I don't get as deep of stretch. It's not about that right now, right? Just starting to wake up and open up the buttocks. So just slowly start to walk forward, not rounding the spine for today, for this moment. You'll get plenty of that. Our body is not short of going into flexion. It's where we spend the majority of our time, right? Walk back, coming up into an upright posture. You're just going to go ahead and come off of that setup. Put your blocks at the front of your mat. That way you have them for a future move. Hands and knees. Now, as we move into cat-cow, I want you to start at the base, the tailbone and or the pubic bone, right? And let it ripple through the spine. What does that mean? So I'm going to let my tailbone move up to the sky a little bit, and slowly that is going to make a wave in my spine until I end up in my full cow, right? And then I'm going to let that tailbone tuck down and under, and it's going to ripple through my spine until the crown of my head gently moves down and faces the earth as well. So do that a couple of times for yourself. Let your tailbone start the action and let it ripple through the spine, trying to feel every vertebrae, right? One at a time. And let's do about one more. You might be in a different spot than me, and that is great. You're following your breath. I honor that. And then come on back to your neutral. Walk your hands just a couple of inches in front of your shoulders. Curl your toes under and make your way back in a downward dog. Now, again, this is kind of a right off the bat situation since we're trying to do something where we move, maybe get our heart rate up a touch anyway, and wake our bodies up. So inhale forward to plank. So we're going to progress. Put your knees down, move your tailbone up, move into that cow position, and then lower down, chest, chin, and then hips. Yeah, chest, chin, pelvis. And then uncurl the toes, baby cobra for the first one, right? I'm not using my hands. I'm not pushing up. Coming down, making your way back to downward facing dog. First one, we'll leave our knees down and we'll push back to downward dog. Take a breath from there. Inhale forward to plank. Again, knees down, move right into that cow. And again, lower down, chest, chin, pelvis. Inhale, low cobra. And exhale back. This time, if you want to leave the knees lifted and try to come through a push-up, you can. I'm going to leave mine down. I'm still not quite that awake in my body yet this morning to take that on. And you might never be. That might not be your work, and that's okay. Okay, inhale your right leg up into the air behind you, square hip, and then exhale into that rounded position where the nose comes towards the knee and the spine rounds up. Inhale back. We're going to do that one more time. Exhale, rounding in. Send it back. And this time we're going to step it through, friends. So go ahead and step it all the way through to the front of the mat. Come into high lunge legs, but the body is still down, right? My hands are on the ground or on blocks, either one. And I try to lengthen my spine. Most all y'all who are with me regularly know I have short arms because I talk about that. So I bring blocks in to find my upper back, right? And then from there, you're just going to go ahead and you're going to start to bring that left heel down or move the back leg into external rotation, I could say, right? And so I'm going to step in just a touch to make that happen for me. I have tight calves. Bend the right knee, reach the chest forward, and then maybe you start to come on up into warrior one. Grab your elbow points, lengthen out of your kidneys and your low back, right? Keep all of that, and then you're going to slowly start to turn your chest towards the long edge, the left long edge of your mat into warrior two. Extend the arms out, take an inhale, and then windmill down, move blocks if you were on blocks, step back to plank. You can go to downward dog and skip this stuff if you don't. You can put your knees down. If you're ready for that chaturanga, into an upward dog. You could still do low cobra. I'm just showing the next alternative. And exhale, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Breathe. Now, when we move quick like this, we tend to use big muscles and forget the small stabilizers, right? So try to be aware of some of that work we've been doing and keep pushing into the fingers as well, especially index finger and thumb, not just the heels of the hands. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, rounding, coming forward, knee towards nose. Inhale, reaching that back and up. And one more time, rounding in. Really work that right heel down. Yep. And stretch it out. And this time it's going to come forward. Imagine that left thigh moving back, work we did last week, pelvic stabilization. Feel free to come on two blocks or not, but find that longest spine from here. Now bring that right heel down. Yeah, and I got to step in just a little to make that happen. Inhaling up, that front knee stays bent. Our chest is faced forward initially. Other forearm in front. Lengthen out of the back waist. Maybe you start to turn your body towards that long right edge of your mat without your left knee moving that way as well. Extend the arms out. Pivot down, and this time just step back to downward facing dog. We'll do a little add on, and I'll give you a chance for more of the push-up series in a little bit. So we're going to step the right foot forward. Inhale the right leg up, square hip. Exhale forward to the front of the mat. Left heel comes down. Inhale, reach those arms up. Grab your elbow points. Warrior one. We've already touched that one, right? Exhale, turning towards warrior two. Don't let that right knee go with you. Keep it in external rotation. Extend the arms out. Windmill down, but don't step back. Bring your blocks in. Now step your left foot a little forward so you can reach that heel further back, almost all the way back, like a 90-degree turn. Lengthen the chest by coming up on the blocks, right? Straighten the arms, hands are on the blocks, might be a better way to say that. And try to work that right hip back, that left hip forward, so your pelvis becomes more squared to the short edge of your mat. Keeping that, you might fold in over the blocks. You may or may not continue to use those blocks, all optional. Keep pushing that outer left heel down, stay nice and stable. And then inhale, come halfway up. Now, bring your left block and hand inside the pinky edge of the left foot. Right hand on the right hip. You remember last week when we had our thumb in our hip crease and we moved our thigh and hip back all class? Do that here and reach the chest forward, find the length, and then start to turn towards the right side of your mat. You can leave the hand on the hip. You can work the right arm up. You can leave the gaze down, forward or up. You get to choose. It's just don't go crazy with this. We have not done a ton of twists, right? A lot of prep work to get into, quote, the deepest version our body can do. So don't get stuck on that. Come down, move blocks. Step left foot back, high lunge. Step right foot back, top of a push-up. Coming down through your push-up or not, go to downward dog if you don't want it. Coming into your upper back bend, whichever version it is. Exhaling back to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale it forward. Try to stabilize the pelvis as you do that. Bring the right heel down. Inhaling up. Other forearm on top. Lengthen, warrior one. Now, don't let that left knee come with you. Turn your chest and your torso towards the long edge of the mat. Extend the arms out. Pivot down. Bring the blocks in. Step the right foot in a little bit and turn it out to more of a 90. So pyramid is where we're headed. Lengthen the spine and come up on those blocks for a moment, right? Move that left hip back, right hip forward. So find your pelvis here right now with that space, and then try to maintain it as you maybe fold out over the legs. Any amount, whatever that is in your body. Come up halfway. Right hand and block, come inside the big toe side of the left foot, right? Put your left thumb in your hip crease and push that hip back and use that as leverage to not only lengthen the side waist and the hip, the low back, but lengthen the chest, right? Reach the chest forward, I should say. Now turn towards the left side of your room. Maybe that left arm reaches up, maybe the hand stays on the hip, right? You can look down, you can look forward, you can look up, they're all on the table. And again, please don't try to force your body into the deepest version of this you've ever done. We have done not very much prep work at all for this pose. Bring that down, left hand, step the foot wide. Step back with the right foot into your high lunge. Step back with the left foot. We're gonna add another thing in here. Inhale the right leg up, step it forward. Now, you're going to bring your left knee to the outside of the right ankle and sit back and down. You might end up at a little bit of an angle, and that's okay. Sorry, my back is to you, but since it's a quick version today, I'm going to just stick with it, right? And then I'm going to push down into that right foot. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my right hand down on the ground and lean to the right. Bring your left hand behind your head. Let your head push back into that hand, the elbow gently reaching up to the sky. And then just be present of your back body while you're here. Maybe turn and look up, but that is not the end all be all. I'm going to leave my neck out of it today. And then come on up, reach both arms up. And now you're going to twist to the right. And breathe. Push that right foot down to ground you. That left buttocks down. Turn the body forward. And to come out of that, you're just going to go ahead and let the right leg come over. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up, square hip. Pull the knee towards the chest, belly up, right round the spine, a step forward. And then we're going to let the right knee come to the outside of that left ankle and sit down. And then from there, bring your left hand over to the left, right arm up and over, hand could be on hip, right? And lean to the left. Let that right buttocks sink down. And then both arms are going to reach up and we're going to twist to the left. And breathe and stuff. And unwind the body. Go ahead and just lean to the right to let that left leg come on back. Come back, downward dog. One more time. We're going to come down onto our bellies. So come forward into plank. Knees can come down or not, right? Belly, chest, or belly, chest, chin, and hips, or through a plank. And then from there, reach your hands back, push your palms down, let your forehead come to the ground, right? And with your forehead on the ground, I want you to keep your forehead down is what I'm trying to say. Push the feet down, thighs lift, push the hands down, let the shoulders lift. So the thighs and the shoulders get a little buoyant, right? Get longer, crown of the head forward, big toes back, and then inhale, shoulders and chest lift. Right now, if you do the next piece, right, it's lengthening. It's not just lifting. Lengthen so much that the toes lift about an inch or two and get longer still. Shoulders lifting and exhale, come on down. So we're going to come right back up again, one side and then the other, right? So push the hands and the feet down, thighs and shoulders lift. Inhale up, upper body. Exhale, lift, lower body. And come on down. Now everything at once. Prep the body, right? Lengthen and then tone the belly up and lift. Still shoulders are buoyant, still thighs are buoyant. That's not changing. Maybe arms lift up, palms face each other, and then get a little longer. Come down with your palms turned up, your head turned one direction, soften for a breath. Gently lift the head, keep the belly toned up, low back protected, turn the other way, soften for a breath. And you probably can't hear my voice very well, sorry. Turn back to the center of your mat. You're not pushing to downward dog, friends. Keep your knees down. Push up, widen the knees, toes touch. Child's pose. Take a breath there. Maybe let your hips rock a little from right to left. It's almost like they're shaking no. Come to center. Walk your hands over to the right. Left hip heavy. Breath. Walk your hands over to the left. A little faster breath today if you hadn't noticed, right? Sink the right hip down. Inhale and exhale. Bring those hands to center, walk yourself up. Bring your knees in. This may not be available for everybody. You could be on a block, but we won't be here for very long. Separate your ankles out, right? And either sitting back onto a block between the ankles on any height, or if it's okay for just a moment to let the hips start to come down inside the heels. It's okay if the buttocks doesn't get to the ground. We're not going to take a lot of time with this today. And come back up, pardon me. And then go ahead and let your legs swoosh around in front of you. I'm going to use height underneath my buttocks for Baddha Konasana today. Feel free to do the same, right? We're just getting our hips a little higher than our knees. Bring the soles of the feet together. And even here, my hips are actually higher than my knees. My knees are still higher, right? But the more I move them up towards that, the more freedom I have in the pelvis, right? So I'm going to get nice and long, pulling against ankles or shins. And the same idea as what we started with, meaning we're not going to fold the spine and round in. We're going to maybe either just stay here and work it, or we're going to keep it long as we paw print forward, one little paw print at a time. And then think of not the knees moving down, but lengthen them out away from the body in their respective directions. Belly toned in, buttocks, bones grounded. Walk the hands back and come on up. You might want to come off your blocks for the next one, or sit on a blanket or whatever that is. And obviously, when I say blocks, it could have been a blanket. Legs out in front of you. Grab your elbow points and lengthen out of the side and back waist. Starting to fold forward, bring the hands down. Pause for a second. So many people get so anxious to like rush in, right? Pause. Now from here, can you think of walking your buttocks bones? I'm going to rock from side to side and try to get my buttocks bones, not my legs, all my legs, right? My buttocks bones to reach back. And then I'm going to reestablish heels reaching into an imaginary wall. And then yes, you get to soften into this one if you want it. You can round one vertebrae at a time. That said, know I spend a majority of my time in flexion. I try not to, but I do. So when my low back is sensitive or talking to me, I don't go into flexion. I'll try to stay with a longer spine and find the stability that I believe my spine needs, right? All y'all know I've been working with a lot of back injuries and chronic pain since the age of 27. So I've got my spine down pretty decent. Not that I always treat it the way I should, but I understand it pretty well right now. And walk back. And that's a lot from exploration, experimentation, right? Buttocks can move a little bit forward, feet on the ground. Please keep the knees bent for this lowering part. I have no doubt some of you are incredibly strong and amazing and can come down with straight legs, but it's just kinder on the low back. Bring the knees in, put your hands on your kneecaps and circle the knees. Other way. And feet on the ground. Walk the feet wide, either cactus arms or extended arms, windshield wiper, a time or 2 or 3, right? Whatever's working for you today. And then once you're complete, let's just say that, you'll come back to center. You have the option of either just leaning the knees in, right? Bringing the arms down, or you can extend the legs out. I'm going to leave my legs a little bent. but I like to walk my feet forward. I used to have them in really close and kind of not understand that in my body, uh, this means a little extra compression in the backs of the knees. I don't get quite as much space by my low back, right? Because, or I flatten it, I mean, towards blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying it well, so I should not talk. Anyway, for me, it feels better in my low back and my knees if I move my feet further forward. Again, I know that about my body. I can't tell you that's the same with yours. Come to the breath. Maybe slow it down just a little bit. Softening, sinking into the earth. And nobody's doing this live with me here today. So that means anyone who's watching this, you're all doing video, right? So you could stay in this Shavasana for another minute or two, even 4 more breaths. If you're on a time commitment, walk your feet in or put your feet on the ground. You can bring your knees towards your chest and do a rock up today. I usually encourage you to come through fetal, but since it's a more timely class today, come into an upright posture. That could be cross-legged or kneeling. Now, you could do this any time of day, especially if you need a little energy boost in the afternoon. I don't know if I do it right before bed, right? You don't want to up your energy right before you're trying to fall asleep, but you could do it throughout the day. But I designed it for that get up and go in the morning. So if that's you, or whenever it is, I guess I'll say, may the rest of your day move smoothly. And if not, may you be able to navigate smoothly through the things that don't end up going that way. It's kind of where my life is right now. Hands in front of the heart. Inhale, bow the head in. Ah, namaste, friends. May all beings everywhere be well.